Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. It's Monday Madness from Washington, D.C. with our Gunners. Let's rock and roll. It's been quite the day.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
And shifting in photos as well, but bear with me, I'm on location. Here I am with my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell.
Hey squaddies, good to see you for Monday Madness with Sophie in DC. At ease, let's go.
Okay, so what a day, Super Kev. It's been pretty amazing here in Washington, D.C. And
tell us all about it, so slowly but surely, please.
I will. I'm sweating like swine as well, and I'll get to that in just a second. But good evening to all this usual suspects in the house. We've got the usual suspects. I can't put all your comments up today. Back to back.
All right, don't worry.
I can't put all the comments up back to back. There is a bit of a delay. So just like, as I said, bear with me. We'll get to this. But all of you who are in chat, thank you so much for joining us this Monday Madness. I'm here in DC. MLS All-Star game is on Wednesday, as you all know. And today was the very first time that we got to see our Arsenal in training. And let me say, Super Kev, I have mad respect for athletes anyway, because what they do is incredible. But we were just standing on the sidelines in this 91 heat, absolutely sweating like swines. And these guys, they're on the bike, they're stretching, you know, they're training. I mean, the intensity of it in the heat is insane, absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's the some nowadays, Soph, and back in the day, to do warm weather training or hot weather training, that is the hardest of all, because not only does it sap your energy, but it's so difficult to get through the sessions because you are losing so much water. And I'm sure the players will probably get weighed after every training session as well to see how much fluid they've lost. So, because you're going to have to replace it. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't, they'll probably do 1, 2, 3 sessions, depending, you know, they might do a session indoors later or whatever, but you do lose a lot of fluid and it is hard on the body. But that's what pre-season's for. So you go through the hard yards. So when you're in the season, you know, we need to start like we did last season, and we need to finish strong. So they're putting in the good yards, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I took a bunch of stuff. So why don't I just start showing you guys some bits and pieces? The amount of journalists and networks that showed up to cover the Arsenal today was insane. I've been covering all of the tours in the United States since Arsene Wenger's days, and this is the biggest I've seen it. Our club, let me tell you, I was having a conversation with someone, and I will not name names, but someone who was just talking to me about they're just realizing just how big of a club Arsenal are. And I said, oh, really? You're just coming around to that, are you? And obviously Declan Rice has created a lot of interest. But, you know, it's
captured the imagination, hasn't it? It's captured the imagination.
It really has. And, you know, the spirit in the team is incredible. And, you know, you're just watching from the sidelines, but you can't fake getting on. You can't fake kind of the camaraderie in between, you know, exercising on the bike and doing your stretches. Can you, Kev? You can't fake that.
No. Togetherness, team togetherness is the difference, what makes teams win and lose. And that's something that you can't fudge, you can't fake. you know if people get along or not, genuinely get along. And the whole squad they do get along. They do
Yeah.
get along. I think that's one of the big tick in the boxes for players who look from the outside in. They talk about Arsenal's togetherness and the way they are. It's a powerful thing. And you know what? Fair play to Mikel Arteta. He knew it was broken when he got to the club.
He
And
did.
this is something that's going to attract players, because players want to come to a good environment.
They certainly do. And that player in particular, I have to say, Kev, Declan Rice, I know they know each other, Declan Rice and Eddie, from the old days. There's a new bromance brewing here. And the two of them were on the bike together. Next to Eddie was William Saliba. Next to William Saliba was Kai Havertz. And next to Kai Havertz was Gabriel. And I did not realize, Kev,
how
tall Kai Havertz is.
Yes.
He is, I think he's taller than Ramsdale.
He's very tall.
Yeah.
Very tall.
Yeah. Very, very tall. And a little bit of, Eddie and Declan were having a bit of a gossip on the bikes.
Don't tell me you caught them on the bike.
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, jeez. Hold on. That means you caught them, because you wouldn't know otherwise.
Oh, let's just say they were talking about boxes at stadiums, which is hilarious.
All right.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. All right, let me play this first video before I play my clip. I did get to ask the gaffer a question, so we'll play that as well. But let's play this first one, and you guys can just sit back and enjoy. Hopefully it plays. Come on.
This is the 4 lunge and rotation. 2 either leg. And no acceleration out. Going backwards, little reverse lunge. Little reverse, 2 either leg. Little push out. Go, just face it that way then, one at a time. First one, quickly, on the clap, little push out.
Okay, first one. So there, Kev, Mikel was getting involved. They're about to do their sprints and stuff. Now, I want to play you this video as well, because one of the things that I found really interesting, and as I said, is the spirit of the team and how they all seem to really get along with each other. One of the things I found interesting is, and I'd love to know from you, is that in between every bit, for example, that bit that I was showing you, I just stopped it and they were doing their lifts with their knees and they were moving along. And Mikel said to them, you're not going to play football putting your knees up like that. It was every little detail. Even when, sometimes players do that, oh, yeah, we're just doing the light training, knees up or whatever, but he was not having it at all. But then also, I'm going to show you guys some stuff, because it seems like he makes training fun. So in between all these little jaunts
workouts and
bits
drills and stuff, he
makes them go and hug or pat or do something with one of the staff, which when people talk about him including everyone, it really felt like I saw that firsthand. But let me show you a couple more here. Kev, is that something that you experience as well? Because, for me today, seeing all this stuff, I've seen training before, I've covered teams before, but this feels very different.
No, not involving. I mean, sometimes a physio or a masseur or a coach gets involved sometimes, but to incorporate everybody, no. That's not normal. I've never done that, especially pre-season. I've got to say. So that's That's a new one for me. That's a good one. Because that's that camaraderie again, where we're all involved in this.
Here's a fun one for you, Kev. Did it play that?
Well, were they all getting into groups, were they? Just before?
Yeah, hold on, let me play it again. Here we go.
On each other's back, and the staff are involved, yeah, have to grab
So they're giving each other piggybacks there, you know, like a break in between doing stuff, a break in between, like the intensity of it all. And, you know, there was another thing they did here, which I want to share as well. I'm just going to play these. Have patience, you guys, because there is definitely a delay on today's broadcast. My internet is like Kev's internet. I really like this one, Kev. I'm going to play it for you. They're doing kick-ups and stuff, and then they have to identify a color. First person who hits it wins. Whoever doesn't, they have to do push-ups. And I think Gabby won this game, actually, as they were going along. Let's take a look.
Down for five. We're going to make it slightly harder now. Second ball is in.
Let me play it one more time, because I don't think it all came through. Here we go.
The last round of this one. Down for five.
It's sticking a bit, I think, so.
It is, I know.
But we heard, well done, Gabby. I could hear
it's
that.
Such a shame that it's such a shame that it's kind of
But we get the gist. The
Yeah.
thing is, the players split up and they have a coach with them, and they do 2 touch, 1 touch, and all this kind of thing. And there's a circle of cones in the middle as they're doing it, and maybe the coach, if there's a trigger to who can go and get the cone, and everybody has to go for a cone because there's maybe one either side. So the quickest one to react, and a lot of that is reaction work, wins. So I'm sure there'll be a few lads who are happy to lose to try and make the muscles look good.
It's funny because Mikel was around there. The one group that I was really near was Kai Havertz, Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, and Gabby Martinelli. They were in the group together. And Mikel was really intensely watching them. And there were a couple of times you could see with the new boy, Kai Havertz, he's just keeping his eye on him, watching. And then he's having a little bit of fun with him as well. It was really good to see. And to be honest with you, it felt like Kai Havertz was just he's been there for a while. It just...
Yeah. And do you remember, Soph, do you remember last year where Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko came in, and people were saying it was like they'd been there for years.
Yes.
And Saliba was new, like he'd been there for years. This seems to be a really good trait.
Yes.
Of new players coming in, bedding in nicely. So that's good. How was Jurrien Timber?
So a little lower key, you know, but I think someone they're very excited about. I was talking to somebody at the club about Timber, and, you know, the Declan Rice deal has completely overshadowed everything, hasn't it, Kev? But let me tell you something. Our football club are very excited about Jurrien Timber. And I think fans should be super excited about Jurrien Timber. Again, just, you know, meshing in, you know, going. What I love is, like, when you see the players together, you know, it's like them, the two mates, like Ramsdale and Ben White, were kind of close and doing stuff together. The Saliba Havertz thing I found quite interesting because they were also stretching together as well as being on the bikes together. Is that something that's set by the manager, Kev? Or is that something the players do or the coaches?
No, sometimes it all depends, I think. I think sometimes, you know, Saliba probably after last season, being not the new guy, but new to the whole regime properly, I think maybe he might have taken under his wing to say, I'm going to welcome Kai Havertz in. You know, it's that type of thing. Obviously, Eddie's with Declan Rice. During Timber would have been with somebody else, and they would have been in and around these players for most of the training session, just to make sure that they're going to be all right and they feel good. Because you know what? They're all young, aren't they? They're all young,
Yeah.
and they're all going to be good friends. But it's those first days of training, so that really shape how you feel about your new environment. And by the looks of things, these guys are going to have a great time.
They are. And Declan Rice looks like, I'm going to get to him. I'm going to save him till the end. But I am. Kev, I know George Graham would have had you guys do this. I please hope. Now, I'm playing some videos in show, and then I've got so many. I've got them on my desktop too. So let's hope these ones play a little cleaner. But I loved seeing this, Kev. Put your own mat away.
Sophie, George Graham wouldn't have it any other way. I'm telling you. Socks, slips, shorts, training kit, you name it. Put them in the right spot. We're the Arsenal. We do things in the right way. So, yeah.
I really like that. I know some people would be like, what? But that indicates to me, again, get your own mat, put it away. Ethic, respect. It's just
mentality.
It's just these little things. Let me show you this clip of, hopefully you can see. Also, by the way, Kev, before they put their mats away, Captain Odegaard kind of got up and went and did his thing. It's almost like they all got up, they went straight to put their mats away. Yeah. Like he was the guy. He's the
leader.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, respect, yeah.
And I don't want to hear people kind of talking about Declan Rice becoming captain of Arsenal and stuff like that. He needs to earn his stripes still. I know he's the most expensive signing in the history of ever. However, Odegaard is the captain of the Arsenal, Kev.
Yeah, listen, could it happen sometime? Who knows? But we've got a captain right now, and he's respected big time. So
exactly, exactly.
Big respect for that.
Yeah, I can see all of your comments, 650 of you in live chat right now. Please hit that like button if you're enjoying a summary of my day with our beloved Arsenal Football Club. More to come tomorrow, by the way. Mikel Arteta will be doing his official press conference as part of the MLS game, as will the commissioner of MLS first. Then it will be Wayne Rooney, who will be talking to the media next, and Mikel closes the show. Save the best till last. So yeah, let's play this one for you guys. Hopefully you can see a little bit of Gabby and Gabby with Odegaard stretching here. Let's hope this.
Stretch the body out is so important because, you know, you want to iron out the little niggles or any little tightness you've got, and you want to go through pre-season as clean as possible. We know there's always little niggles, but you don't want to be able to miss big chunks of pre-season because you never get it back.
Exactly. Here's one of those other fun elements I talked to you guys about before we get on to asking Kev a few questions about pre-season and stuff. Let's see if you can spot our goalkeeper here doing something funny. Kev.
Listen, it's pre-season, but you know what, Soph? It's one thing I will tell you. Normally, pre-season isn't fun.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could make the work fun, you've cracked it. And they look like they're having fun. You know,
Yeah.
they're doing the work. Obviously, as you said, it's so hot. They're doing the work, but they're having fun doing it. And that makes life so much easier.
Yeah, and I'm sure when we left, it got pretty intense. Let's be honest, right? So, but yeah, I mean, you can see there's a bit of ease. It's like he has this mix. I think good leaders, no matter whether you're a football manager or you're an executive or you're a film director, really good leaders just find ways to mix up the intensity with some of the fun components too, Super Kev, as well. I want to share this video that I just randomly took. I tried to catch him whenever I could of Mikel, and then I will play my soundbite to you guys.
Where are they, Soph? Where actually are they training?
Great school here in Washington. It's not in Washington. Is it in Virginia? I don't know, but it's a great school. They're a huge basketball school, Super Kev, George Mason, and their facilities are amazing. Here's the other thing too that I found interesting. The MLS All-Stars are more in town in the American University. We drove out like 30, 40 minutes to get to George Mason from DC. I like it. It's quiet up there. The air is clean up there.
No hassle.
No hassle. No, you're not going to get harassed by fans and by, all sorts of people. Although, of course, they welcome the fans. They can't wait to see the fans in DC, in New York, and in Los Angeles. You can still get tickets in New York and Los Angeles, by the way, if you're here in the United States and you want to get to the game. So everyone was asking Mikel Arteta about Declan Rice, as you can imagine, Super Kev. And I could just sense he couldn't wait to get out of there. He is John Kennedy-esque. He's like, he talks really quickly. Of course, when he's in his pressers during the season, he's got to sit, he's got to talk to the media and stuff. And you could just tell it's not that he doesn't want to talk to anyone. He just wants to get out on the pitch.
Priority, yeah.
And he is in tip-top shape. He's still got a rack up there. I mean, he's tight. You know what I mean? He looked lean, he looked fit, and he looked raring to go. Few more grey hairs I spotted, by the way, Kev. So if you guys don't know, when you're in the media mix zone, it's like crazy. You just got to be a Rottweiler. And a lot of the UK press, of course, were getting questions. And so I yelled out and I said, can we get one over here? And literally they brought Mikel over, and I tell you, I was so happy. The Arsenal team just really, and it was literally a minute, but here it is. It's a good minute, in my opinion.
No, it's an excellent minute.
Hold on 1 second. We'll start from the beginning. There we go.
Hey, Mikel, I recently spoke to Gilberto Silva, and he talked about how you and Edu are able to transmit the Arsenal culture because you were players and you played for the club. What's your thought on that? He also said that we fans shouldn't take any more bullshit from opposing fans, that Arsenal are back and that the team are on a totally different trajectory now.
I think that's down to the club. They will represent an incredible club, and everybody wants to be part of this club. We just tried slightly in our jobs, and we try to convince people to explain that in the best possible way. And when you see that players are deciding to come here instead of going somewhere else, it's very pleasing.
Listen, bang on. That's bang on, because, do you know, Sophie, me and you have discussed this for the last, 2 years? About trying to get to that level where we're competing and, where we're bringing in the best players. Wow, I didn't believe it will be this summer. We knew we had to sign top players, but when Man City come in, and then you can beat them to a player like Declan Rice, that says something.
And it's a really big deal. And you sense that even with the media, they think it's a really big deal. They may play it down, Kev, and they may want to kind of have a dig here or there, but you could sense this is a new, I don't know what it is, but there's even something in the air with the media, right? The Declan Rice deal has, we kept talking a lot about we've got to earn our respect back. No one's going to give us anything unless we show something. And you can feel that level of respect. And I tell you, Kev, I covered Manchester City when they were here, when Arteta was the assistant. And I remember, for the first time, like seeing Phil Foden play and being impressed. And then talking to Pep Guardiola and how he handled himself. I know people used to call Mikel his cone man, but let me tell you, one of the best things that's ever happened is probably the fact that he was his cone man, because when he's standing there, he has that presence. He has that pep presence. And you could see like people were like, oh, it's Mikel Arteta. And even for me, for a second, I was like, I'm not going to tell him I slagged him off in his first year. I did tell the team I did, though. I'm honest. You know me. I just said to an Arsenal manager, Gilberto Silva told us not to take bullshit. I'm not afraid to speak like that.
That's it.
Listen,
you see, your comment and your opinion is on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't carry it around with you, and things change. If Arsenal do bad, we say they've done bad. If they do good, we say they've done good.
But Kev, he's changed. He's evolved.
Yeah. Well,
and you can see it. And there's definitely an element of, if you feel him, he was literally right here, and his energy, he's like, you could feel his professor head going, like, I've got to get on the pitch because I've got to do all his data. You could see it just going in his head. I'm answering your question, but really I'm out there already.
mm-hmm.
And Rebecca Lowe told us, didn't she, during the season when she was on with, I think it was Lee Dixon, that he's obsessed with Arsenal. And every single time you go cover a game or you talk to him, he's absolutely obsessed with Arsenal. You've seen it, Kev. You've covered last season. You've seen the evolution. He's changed.
And he will change, Soph, because what we have to understand is he's still a virtual young manager who is learning as he goes. He's doing very well, but there still are some levels for him to go. Now, we know having the pieces helps. Now we're starting to get the pieces, and we're going to say it again, Soph. This is Mikel Arteta's team. Now he's adding the likes of Declan Rice and Havertz and Timber. Hopefully there'll be a few more. Now it's win now mode, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen different stages moving forward. So he will change as he goes along because he's working it out himself. He's got to understand what's what, as well as us fans, that that the strings that tie us to certain players, unfortunately, we've got to leave that in his hands, because he's going to have to make some tough decisions, and maybe some players who maybe we've got accustomed to won't be here. But if it's for the betterment of Arsenal and Arsenal winning trophies, that's what's got to happen.
Definitely. I made some notes just because I didn't want to forget anything that I saw today, just to share with everyone.
So what did you see, Soph? What did you see?
Well, the Declan and Eddie bromance is really something, I have to say. Now, I know that, many of us have been critical of Eddie, but this is definitely a relationship. I posted the video of this onto our Twitter account. So if you want to see the video of Declan and Eddie cycling, and also Saliba, Havertz and Gabriel as well, that is on our Twitter. I'll post more stuff onto the YouTube channel as well, so you guys can take a look at it. But Kev, he seems so happy.
Well, he is, isn't he? He is. And having somebody who you grew up with, remember, they're still friends to this day. Eddie's dad used to travel with the young team as well and stuff like that. So So there's some real family values and ties there, which is always a nice one. Listen, people could complain about Eddie all they like. When we needed Eddie last season, he was there for us. So, you know what? I don't like the way people just want to throw Eddie away. I don't like it. We need a squad. And yeah, is Eddie the person who's going to shoot us to a title? No, he's not. But you know what? Being part of a successful squad, everybody is not going to start. There are going to be times when you're going to need people to step up. And Eddie done that last season. So we know we can do it. So I'm not too fussed about Eddie. Eddie, make Declan happy and make him comfortable.
Yeah. And they were really like just, chatting away and, talking about, they talked about Eddie's dad a little bit too. And they were just having, and then you move down the line and Havertz is chatting with Saliba and Gabriel was very intense. I loved, Gabriel, who will probably captain the team. I don't know, Kev. Gabriel, have they announced a new vice captain now Xhaka's gone, or do we know?
I haven't said anything about it, to be honest, but obviously in Nuremberg, Gabriel was the captain on that day. And Thomas Partey was there and there were other players there, but no Odegaard, fair enough, but Gabriel was that guy. So I think he may just be, until it's announced, obviously, but he may just be the number 2 captain.
Yeah, I mean he's big guy too. I tell you, Kev, we're a bigger team than we used to be.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Really, Tomiyasu's a little smaller than I've seen him play, of course, but when you see him kind of standing or whatever, but he's still big. He's got presence. It's just that when everyone stands next to Kai Havertz now, they look short and they're tall. So it's kind of crazy. But Declan Rice was, all of the questions from Mikel were generally about Declan Rice. There was an interesting question that John Cross from the Daily Mirror actually asked Mikel about, how it came to be. And Mikel talked to John Cross, and you can probably read it in his article. I'll post the video later. I have it too, about he was our target. And to get our target and to miss
number one target.
And you know what? The way Mikel spoke about it, there was a little pride in there too, but a little edge in the sense that you could probably think after he was bitterly disappointed to miss out on Mudryk, right? This was the player that he wanted more than anybody. And so to get him, he really expressed that as well, which was really interesting to hear him talk about that process a little bit too.
Yeah, and Soph, I don't know if you've ever watched football and looked at another player for another team and felt, I could see him in Arsenal's team. You do that, don't you? I do that a lot of the time. And I'm going to be really honest with you. After we drew 2-2 with West Ham, we're winning 2-0, cruising, and then Declan Rice went on angry mode. He went after Thomas Partey and won the ball and obviously set up Paqueta to win the penalty. I thought to myself, this guy in our side will make a huge difference, because it's not just about sitting back as a number 6. It's about going and affecting the game. And that's what he done. Just by his pressing and closing down and his tenacity, he changed the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
Just that one movement changed it. After that, we were like, whoa. And they came back. So I know we missed the penalty and everything, but the momentum of the game, which we were cruising in, totally changed. So I think Declan Rice is going to have a huge impact on this Arsenal side, not only in the position he plays, but the decisions he makes within games. Because I don't just want him sitting back there thinking I'm just going to look pretty here. I want him, if a team's maybe giving us a bit of problem, I want him to switch into destroy mode and go after somebody. Get the crowd up, win the ball high up the pitch from that number 6 position. You know what I mean? Go and destroy the opposition. That's what I want to see. I want to see him score 5 to 10 goals as well. That's what I've got to see.
Yeah, I think when we talk about, you know, how in the first maybe 15 months of Mikel's, I even said to you, I'm like, Kev, what player is he improving? I don't see improvement in players. But then year 2, like last season, I think is the big indicator of the improvement of players. From even like Saka's improved year on year, even without Mikel, but he's even elevated to world-class status. Benjamin White has improved greatly. Even Aaron Ramsdale as a goalkeeper has improved. You talk about, you know, Gabriel at the back,
Big
you know,
time.
limiting his mistakes. Martinelli has improved. So again, you know, what you're saying is so true. Declan Rice can actually, he's so good now and people revere him now. How good can he get? That was another question about, you know, how good can he get and what contributions can he make? I think Mikel is thinking the sky's the limit for this guy, Kev.
Well, I think Mikel Arteta being a midfielder, Edu being a midfielder, they would want, if there's a conversation, who is the best midfielder on the planet, they would want Declan Rice in that conversation. In order for Declan Rice to be in that conversation, so he's going to have to do a bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to be able to sweep up as he normally does, set tempo, destroy a team, go on runs, score goals. He's going to have to be a bit of an all-rounder, and we've got to win. That's the other thing. When you start winning trophies, then teams say, look, when they signed him, Arsenal started winning.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it would have been easy for him to go to Man City, Soph, and continue winning. And he would have just been, yeah, it's another title or another this or another that. But to come to Arsenal, that's the challenge.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I love players who take the challenge.
Yeah.
I really do. And it's not just Arsenal, but if there's a rival, why would you go to the rival who's winning? Go to the one who's not, to get them over the line, to prove yourself. So fair play to Declan Rice for making that part of his mantra. I want the challenge to get Arsenal back to where they belong.
So Kev, someone I've gotten to know through the Manchester City versus Arsenal rivalry last season, who's very close to the club, he wasn't so bothered about losing out on Rice because he just never felt that they were truly in for him. Like I think Arsenal,
they weren't truly in for him. They only stuck 90 million on the table.
Right. But I mean, I think what he was trying to say was hold on a second. Let me explain what he was trying to say. Maybe the fans never thought that Pep would want, or he was on his radar in terms of that's my number one target, right? But since the signing, the tune is different. What he's saying is, I think we missed out. Because now they see the hype, now they see the impact, now they see kind of like even how the euphoria of our fans, how to be so excited to capture a player like that. Because the caveat to that is why he was saying is because he's really worried about the players that they're letting go. And so next season, of course, City are going to be great. However, he is and said, you know what? I didn't fear you last year, but I fear you going into this season.
Yeah, one, we've strengthened, and two, they're weakened. He's supposed to fear us. That's what we want. We want to make sure, again, we bridge that gap closer to them. And hopefully, if we could do a little bit more business, maybe we'll pip them. If we can pip them, then we've done our job correctly. But they've got what we want, Soph. They've got what we want. We need a title. We need a title. And Manchester City have been so dominant. We've got to usurp them. We have to.
Kev, when you talk to you know, some of the team around the staff, or you just get a sense from the media as well, and you just know that's the target next season. And the Champions League is the extra spice, is nice money wise, and we're going to go for it. And he's definitely going to be competitive in every game back in the Champions League. But the Premier League is the holy grail for next season. And I think one of the things that I was talking to with a couple of journalists on the ground is, you know, the narrative that could build early if we don't get off to a good start, or the pressure that's on. I wanted to come back to you because I was thinking when I was talking to them, what would Super Kev think about this? Pressure is big time. You've been there. This is what they need, isn't it? This is what they have to be and get used to, I should say.
Last season, they had all the pressure last season.
Do you think it's
playing for Arsenal is pressure, right? Now, playing for Arsenal, knowing 90% of the league you can beat, there's those big games that really make the difference in title run-ins. And really, the only one we came unstuck against was Man City. So the key is, okay.
Southampton, Brighton.
No, but I'm saying...
Oh, the big team.
Yeah. Big team. I'm not saying you can't drop points against smaller teams, because you can. We know you can. But I'm saying, of those teams who... It's the big games, those big home and away fixtures that sometimes determine whether you win it or you don't. And in the end, we came unstuck against a Manchester City team at home and away who were just better than us. They were. We made mistakes at home. They beat us out of sight away from home. The key now is, so can we go to these big games? Because this is all part of the learning process. After last season, we went all the way virtually. Now, we're making the difference. Declan Rice has got legs to burn in midfield. He's hardly ever injured. That's a massive tick in the box. Can he help us, push us right to the end? Because I think we even said it. I'd love it even if we lost, and I want it to go to the last game of the season.
Yeah, you said that.
But we didn't have that luxury to get to the last game of the season. That's what we got. If we could knock them out before that, Sophie, let's knock them out. Right. But if we can't, we need that mentality to go to the end of the season. And yeah, do you know what? Sometimes the start ain't great. Manchester City's start haven't been great, Sophie.
No.
But it's how you build through the season, and we know if we're going to win it, we have to narrow and be perfect.
It's you know, it's a cliche for a reason, isn't it, Kev? Start. It's not how you start. It's how you finish, right? And definitely Manchester City, the last two they've won, they started off terribly.
Yeah.
Last season they started off terribly. Everyone was questioning all sorts of has Haaland ruined the team? Jesus Christ. I mean, craziness, right? But yeah, I mean, it's really enlightening to see him at work in his environment with his players. This is now his team. And I tell you, when he says my club, he's the Don there. He is the guy. He is it. And you can tell he has full command of that team. And look, you guys, I'm not exaggerating here, because last season I covered Juventus, right? And we had covered Juventus after we had missed out on, Vlahovic and all that talk. And there were disgruntled Juventus fans, with Allegri, archaic football, bit like Mourinho-esque type vibes. And the vibe was awful. In training, covering the team. The best part was just talking to the media staff, bless them. And Kev, you could see and sense, like, the season they had was not a Juventus signature season,
no, it
was
terrible.
It?
Yeah.
And you sense these things. Like when I covered City, they had a great vibe. And you can see Arteta is replicating exactly what Pep has done. And now I've covered Manchester City here, and I've seen Pep at work, and I've seen them in training, and I'm not acting like an expert. I'm just telling
Calling
you
it like
guys
you see it.
what I've seen. It feels like carbon cut paste, carbon copy, Bookham Dano. And I was very impressed, the same way I was impressed with seeing Pep and Manchester City. And it's funny because I was walking with Pep at the end of that, and I said to him, I said, I'm very impressed. I'm an Arsenal fan, and it tastes like vinegar to give you a compliment, but this is a great setup. I haven't seen a team do it better than you coming to the United States on tour. And then he said, he looked at me, goes, promise me you'll write about that. And I said, I will. I didn't write about it. I just talked about it on the radio. But still, these are the things, the little details. The Pep cares about that stuff, and Mikel cares about that stuff.
Because it's important. You see, what other people think isn't what the manager thinks. The manager has more detailed intricacies in his mind of how to knit everything together. And that's what Pep was interested in. When you recognize that, write about it, because that just adds to his legacy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And someone in chat, I saw it go by really quickly. By the way, 900 plus of you in live chat this evening. Thanks so much for joining me. And Super Kev, make sure you hit that like button, all right? Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Chief Like Officer Tammy Steels, give us the number. Someone was asking if Arteta seems more hands-on than Pep. Now, I don't know. I can't answer that because I'm not in Manchester City's world every day, and I'm not with Arteta every day. But what I can tell you from what I saw, he's very hands-on. And you could tell he still likes to play football. Like when he was talking to Havertz and stuff, you know, I mean, he's just ready to go. And I think, yes.
Don't tell me, show me.
Yeah, he's very hands-on. Right, let me just check out some other stuff I may have missed. I told you about you can't play football. Martinelli's gun's bigger than I thought, Kev. He's been doing his training, hasn't he? And he's getting stronger, tougher. He's now got a full season under his belt, which is what we spoke about. All of a sudden, when you've got a full season, you know that toughness just comes. So he's been working, which is good. This guy looked in good shape too. Of course, just recently got married. Benjamin looking fine, if I may say so myself.
Well, they're all machines, aren't they? They're all machines, all lean, fit, strong.
Yep. And you can see Gabriel to the left of Ben as well there, looking lean, fit, strong. Like I said, you know, I mean, these guys are coming into pre-season, Kev. I'm not sure if players were as in this kind of shape as when you were, but not every player came back into pre-season.
No, you know what, Soph? You got to remember, I'm lucky enough. I cover 3 decades in the game. So the first pre-seasons I was doing was in the 80s. Believe it or not. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it was the late 80s. And as obviously my career started to move on, players were less and less out of shape. I know players will come back in tip-top condition. Because you've got to be out of shape. It takes you that much to lose the weight, then to get in. Teams haven't got time. You've got 6 weeks, or if you're Arsenal, really 5 weeks to Community Shield. You haven't got time. Declan Rice has been training. We know that he was on holiday, which absolutely cheesed West Ham off a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think that was the hold up, you see, Soph, because they said, look, if you come in, you're gonna come straight to training. Get yourself away on holiday, have a few days, and come back. And that's what he done. And West Ham weren't happy, but they got the job done. They got their money, so it's all right.
I mean, you know, and then some, right?
Soph, I've got a question for you about this. You know, when you saw Arsenal last season to this season, is there more staff there this time?
There was a lot of staff. I'm just flashing these pictures extra for you guys so you can
Yeah,
see
there's
as we're
Frimpong
talking.
there, isn't it?
Yeah.
he's a great lad, him.
There was a lot of staff there, Kev. I mean, the media team, of course, but then you've got the social media, the PR team, the media communications, then you've got social media, the content team as well. So, yeah, I
Huge
mean,
operation, isn't it?
huge operation.
Yeah.
And it felt like the big club just walked into Washington, D.C. and, you know, landed, and here we are. And it totally felt like that. And as I said, for me, having covered the Gunners a few times on the tours, this feels like the biggest. This feels like the most exciting. This feels like the most together, the most complete. I know that a lot of fans want to see more business in the transfer window. Could be 2 out, maybe 1 more in. Kev, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. What do you think?
You know, all the connection. Like I said, got to trust the manager in what he wants to do. We spoke last Monday about Thomas Partey with the experience in midfield. But if somebody's going to give you 40 million for him, 30, 40 million for him, and you could bring in somebody else, you know, that might be the business. People saying, you know, if Thomas Partey goes, we get Caicedo. Now, I'm sure, remember we had a discussion, I think it was the end of last season. Could we get both of them? I mean, you get Rice and you get Caicedo. Now that's exciting.
I thought Caicedo was going to Chelsea. Is that not happening now?
Well, he's not a Chelsea player yet, is he?
No, he's not.
And that's the funny thing. He's not a Chelsea player yet. Normally you think Chelsea would have done the business. They haven't. So this leaves the door open.
And Kev, I've seen a few comments in the chat as well. Thank you guys have been amazing this evening. And unfortunately, there is a delay on my end. So putting your comments up is kind of insane. But you guys are making great comments, and trust me, we'll get to all of that on another show. But one of the things that they're saying, a few, Kev, is you know, they don't want Thomas Partey to go, or it'll be a mistake. However, one of the things that we discussed when Tierney came up as a potential departure at that time was that we've got ourselves into a position now where we want to be, where we're going to have to say goodbye to players we like. Yep. Or that are good and can move on elsewhere.
Yeah, and you know what? This is one of the difficult parts of being a club who's moving to the level that we should be at. We're going to lose players who we like. We're going to lose players who, you know, we've got a connection with. But you have to trust the manager in the moving and shaking and the recruitment that he does. We just have to trust him, because I don't see a reason not to. Mm-hmm. We know what we need to do. We know we need to be better and in more depth, have more depth than we did last season. And that's really being addressed. Could we do with more? Of course, we always want more. So for Arsenal fans, we always want a little bit more. I said, 6 players to 8 players? Listen, we got 3 in. I'll take another 3 more, if you don't mind. But, you know, losing Partey might be a difficult one. Would I rather keep him, Soph? Yes, I would. I'd rather keep Partey. But if someone's going to offer you great money for him, I think you have to do the business.
I think because of the reason that towards the end of the season, we know that he can break down. And we just had a conversation a few minutes ago about it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Yeah. And of course, you got to get to a good start. You don't want to get too far behind, but it's how you finish. And in the last 2 seasons, we've lost his influence. And especially this season, it hurt us because he had a really good, his best football since he's joined the club.
Big time.
And I think you cash in on someone like that. Now, Tierney, a lot of fans are saying, oh, he's not as injured now. Well, he's not playing every week, is he? Yeah. It's a big difference.
Well, do you know what, Soph? Here's the funny thing. I think there's going to be games. Tierney's going to get his games this season.
I think so.
I think he will get his games. I think because there's going to be, you know, like when Ben White didn't come into that midfield
Mm-hmm.
position. He played one-on-one on the outside with Saka. I think we can do that now. Tierney up and down with Martinelli, and we invert with Timber on the opposite flank. So as opposed to being that way centric, left-hand sided centric, we can then turn around to be right-hand centric. So I think that's a really good move for us. So you never know. Tierney might get more games. Or else I'm sure we would have sold him by now.
There's been interest in Tierney, Kev. There's no doubt.
Big interest. I know Newcastle wanted him big time.
I kind of like having him in this squad. I feel that, you know, if you lose Partey, you lose Xhaka. Tierney was the first player that kind of we felt we were getting our Arsenal back in terms of personality, character, right? He came at the right time. We all fell in love with him. But also he's a good player. And in certain games, especially now where Mikel's evolved as a manager, Super Kev, I think he knows. He's got the Champions League. He's got the 2 domestic cups. He's got the Premier League. And also Zinchenko's injury prone. So
win now mode.
And
we are in win now mode.
Yeah.
And Zinny, for all his great play, isn't the most durable.
No.
So we're going to need bodies.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. We're going to need bodies.
We are going to need bodies. Speaking of bodies, there's 952 bodies in live chat right now, which is incredible. Thank you so much for joining us this Monday Madness. I'm live from Washington, D.C. Super Kev is in the UK, and I couldn't wait to talk to him and you guys about preseason and get Kev's player take on it as well, especially after Gabby Agbon Lahore asked for it to be outlawed because he hated it so much. So funny, Kev. Right, let's see what else we got. I didn't see this personally. So I could have easily told you I did, but I didn't. But one of my journalist friends who actually has worked with Saka and Odegaard in the past on some projects mentioned that Mikel Arteta's family are also here, and his kids came out when they came out into the George Mason Stadium were singing Rice, Rice, Baby.
Really? But you know what, so? But that's the human side of it, isn't it? That's such a great human side of it where the young man, Declan Rice, has captured the imagination, you know, and it puts Arsenal back on a certain pedestal because breaking transfer records isn't what Arsenal have been. That they haven't been that club for a long time. So
this is uncharacteristic. It's not on brand. It is completely the opposite of what we've done in the past. We were getting there. We did it with Pepe, but he was just the wrong player.
No, but Soph,
was he the wrong player? Go on,
but Soph, Pepe, unfortunately, was an unknown quantity who we hoped would be unbelievable. Declan Rice is a marquee signing. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. And it's been a long time since we've signed someone of that stature.
Let me ask you this, Kev. I know you hate playing the what if game, but
we'll play it then.
Well, I wonder what Pepe would have been like had Arteta been his first manager.
Maybe he wouldn't have signed him.
Sorry, that was funny too, but yeah. It's,
no, but you know what I mean? Because of what Mikel Arteta probably looks for in players, maybe we wouldn't have signed him. So maybe we would have gone and got somebody like a Jack Grealish. Do you know what I mean? So that's the difference. But if Mikel Arteta was his first manager, Nicolas Pepe would have had to do a lot more of that work he was trying to do at the end of his, just before he kind of left on loan, to get his game together. Because I don't think he worked at his game enough, or his game was the transition from France to England didn't come quick enough, as far as I was concerned. He's got unbelievable ability, Soph.
Mm-hmm.
And he helped Arsenal win an FA Cup under Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
But grasp his inconsistency worked against him, obviously. Because, again, talent-wise, we know he's got incredible talent. But if you're going to be playing for Arsenal and you're going to be the record signing at the time, we need to see more of you. You know what I mean? We can't rely. One good game out of 5 sort of thing isn't enough.
No.
3 out of 2 we can take, but we want 4 out of 1.
And it's not only one good game out of 5. It's like contributing to. You don't have to be the star man every game, right? And I think this is the difference also is mental. And one of the things that you see now in this team is the mentality. And that all stems from the very top. And that is, you don't have, it's not just about ability anymore. It's about mentality. And I do believe that Mikel Arteta had to greenlight that because he believed in Declan Rice's mental. He loves this part as much as he does what he does on the pitch. And that's the difference with the new Arsenal. It's like, I don't care if you can play and do like crossovers and nutmegs and Panenkas. I want to know what you've got up here.
Have you, it's that and that.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, Soph, if you're getting a runaround from Man City and you could stay in the game, and then one action, you go and press the ball and you win the ball, and then you can go and hurt them from that. That could be the difference.
Yep. I just caught a note from Cozy T in chat saying the Saudis should take Pepe. Any chance we can make that happen, everyone? Otherwise, it's going to be a Big Mac and fries, methinks.
Well, I'm not sure on that one, the Saudis, but hey, listen, they're helping the Premier League clubs
make some money.
Not only make some money, but get rid of some of the big wages.
Yep.
Off their wage bill, which is great.
Yes.
Really
We'll talk about that on another show. We're definitely going to cover that as well. Okay, an hour in, I am Can you see me wiltering as the show has?
We can feel the heat off you.
I feel like I'm yelling. I feel like I'm sweating. I feel like just dying here, basically, just to bring you the big news of the day, people. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Real quick before I'm going to have Kev. I hate to let 940 people go in about 5 or 10 minutes, but I do have two very important announcements to make. You guys have seen here with Magic Mike is here as well. And those pictures didn't come up either. Sorry about that. I'll show you guys those pictures on another day. But Magic is also hosting a couple of events for Gooners v Cancer during the US tour. If you're in DC tonight, get your ass to Lou's City Bar in Columbus Heights. I think it's from 6 o'clock onwards. And just, give a few bucks to Gooners v Cancer and get together with your East Coast and whoever's come from the West Coast Gooners as well for that night. So it's Lou's City Bar, and I think the tag is at Lou's City Bar on Twitter. But check the Gooners Pod account and please get your asses there. The other one is on Sunday, the 23rd of July at the Fox and Hounds as part of the LA game at SoFi Stadium, Cranky's house. Gooners v Cancer event at the Fox and Hounds. It's I can't remember what time it starts, but just go to the Gooners Pod and check it out. I can't remember what time it starts, and I'm supposed to be there. But please do look that up as well. The 23rd of July.
Make sure you put it on.
I'll put it on.
Well.
I'm going to put it all on our social media, guys. I'm going to put it in our community page. So whoever is around and wants to come, that will be fantastic as well. So get to see the Arsenal again tomorrow. And then, of course, I'm going to get to do this all over again in Los Angeles next week. At home. Yeah, where I won't be sweating like swine, and have Vinny and Vesper barking at you.
Lovely, lovely.
And I think that is it. I just wanted to say huge thanks to the Arsenal team who got me in to ask Mikel a question today. That was very, very cool of them. Kev, they love you over there. Let's just say that. All right, they love their Super Kev at the Arsenal.
Hey, listen, and rightly so.
Rightly so.
Rightly so. I've got nothing but love for the Arsenal. You know that.
Yeah, they love you a lot, and there's lots of love to be sent to you. That's for sure. And I believe, I don't know if I can say who's going to be here. Maybe I'll check first before I say the 2 other players that are coming, before I put my foot in it.
Yeah, don't say nothing.
Because I know one of them has a message for you, so I'll just wait.
Yeah, say nothing. Say nothing.
Say nothing. Kev, what do you think?
By the way, is Edu there?
Haven't seen him yet, but I'm sure he will be.
He will turn up.
He should. Yeah, I don't know if he turns up. I think he'll be at the game, but he'll definitely be. I assume
he'll be at Sophie.
Yes,
sure.
Yeah, because the Cronkies will be there and stuff, and but I'm sure some Arsenal fans will be. What are you doing at the game? You should be doing your job, signing more players.
You never know. There might be a couple of additions.
Oof, that would be great.
Just never know.
I tell you, it is a buzz here in the United States, because with Messi's unveiling with Senior Beckham last night, and Arsenal being here, and listen, Barcelona are coming here, Juventus, Manchester United. There's also, Kev, the new Big Six tournament that's happening. Newcastle, Aston Villa, Brighton. They're all coming here.
Yeah, I saw that actually.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's a bit of fun. That's a bit of competition as well. So brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm going to see Wrexham on Saturday as well. Play at LA Galaxy. Yeah, that's going to be fun, just to check Wrexham out and see that story and what they're up to as well. So tons of stuff happening, and there'll be lots of other shows coming up where we can talk about this. And of course, you'll get all the first dibs on whatever I grab from the next 2 days here in Washington, D.C. as well. Over to you, Super Kev.
Well, Sophie, I've got to say, I could have been on air for 2 hours with you today, but I know you'd just melt into a puddle if you were. So thanks for doing such a great job, Soph. I know it's never easy when you start these things, but you've done a great job, especially after just like 24 hours us decided we're going to make sure this happens tonight. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thanks to you, everybody who's joining us as well. Always, you know the score, you know who you are. Everybody who comes in and joins us, both now and who watches it after. We really appreciate you. We do. But you know what I always say? We love you. Tell your people that you love them as well. Whether they're ill, they're not, whatever. Reach out to them and tell them you love them, because you know what? The new currency is love. That's what the new currency is. It's love. Arsenal got the Declan Rice. They've got Jurien Timber. They've got Havertz there. Listen, things are going to start to happen. We're going to start to see the team, how the team gel together in America. And we've got our lady on spot, Sophie, there to make it all happen. And if there's any little gaps, Sophie, get your glue gun out and just tack it back down, glue it back down, rivet gun, make sure it's solid. All right. So everybody, we love you. Thanks for joining us on Monday Madness. And you know what comes next. Squaddies, at ease. Squaddies, at ease.
Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. super.